What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. Today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, which is money. If you told me I'd be saying this sentence like 3 years ago, I would laugh in your face, okay? Money used to stress me out beyond belief. I would never even look at my accounts. I had no idea where my money was going. I didn't know what investing really was, what emergency funds, debt snowball effect, all of that was like fantasy world to me, okay? I had no idea. And I would genuinely never talk about money. So a lot has changed. And most of that changed when I started watching these kinds of videos. So that's why I wanted to make one. I feel like they're so motivating and inspiring. And through these videos, I got passionate about finance. I started researching it a lot, learning about it. I ended up creating a budget for myself. I started saving. I saved up for my emergency fund and I created a really good financial foundation for myself. And that led to a completely different financial situation that I now get to enjoy. Like my mindset about money is completely different. I make a lot more money. I'm a lot smarter with my money. My money makes more money. Like it's honestly one of the best things I've ever done for myself because it created so much, first of all, stability, like to not have that stress around money. Like you use money pretty much every single day. And for that to not stress you out is a big, big change. And to just feel financially secure. Like I don't really have to worry about money anymore. And to feel like I know what I'm doing as well, like I know what I'm talking about, that feels amazing. And I showed myself that I can tackle something like this, and that gives you so much like inner confidence. It's just been an amazing journey. So I thought that it's, beginning of the new year, and if you're someone who wants to work towards your finances or improve your finances, I thought this would be a nice video to kick off the new year, to give you some ideas, some motivation, inspiration, and you can make 2025 the year when you like learn about money, start changing these habits, and basically set yourself up for success, especially if you're young. I don't think it's ever too late, but especially if you're young, you have time on your side. I honestly wish I would have done it sooner, but here we are. So in this video, I'm going to take you through a whole reset that I like to do at the beginning of the year and a plan for the new year when it comes to my finances. So I'm going to review my 2024 finances, go over where I'm at now, my plan and goals for my finances for 2025, and then we will create a new budget for the whole year. And of course, I'll share a few tips and tricks as we go along, but I do have a whole playlist of the financial videos I've done so far. So I'm going to link that down below if you are interested and you want to explore this topic further. This video is probably going to be very yappy and pretty long, so I'll have timestamps as per usual, and the budget that I've been using and will continue to use in 2025 is always linked down below. There's also a 10% off code, so you can use that if you want to. It works even if the budget is already discounted, so you can get some extra money off. That's obviously totally up to you. You do not need to use this one, but in case you're interested, that's all down below. Alrighty, enough yapping. Let's get into it. My first step is always to review how the previous year went, just so I can get a very clear idea of where I'm at, what worked, what didn't work, what I want to change, etc. This is pretty easy and straightforward for me to do because I have been tracking my money and budgeting for a while now. If you haven't budgeted so far, I highly recommend going over your income and expenses from the last 1 up to 3 months. So you don't need to do the whole year, that's a lot. So the whole goal is that you want to see where your money is going. I have a whole video that takes you through the whole process of setting out your budget, your savings, your emergency fund, so I will link that down below. But here are my financial goals for 2024. So I only set 3. My first goal was to have a 6-figure year, which I did do. This was my best financial and career year yet, like by far, which I'm really happy with because my personal life was a disaster. I went through all of that in my 2025 reset video. It's going to be linked below. But if you're new here, my boyfriend of 3 years passed away unexpectedly in the summer. It obviously completely changed my life, wrecked me beyond belief, and here we are. So we've had to change a lot because of that. And obviously my financial situation and my goals for my long-term future has changed because we had a whole future planned. So that's where we're at, just to give you a quick breakdown. But yeah, 6-figure year, did that. I wanted to save 40% of my income. I ended up saving a little under 43%. So I did succeed with that one. And then the last one is to have 1 5-figure month. All of these amounts are in euros, by the way, because I'm based in Slovenia. And I have never achieved this before. So it was like a fun little milestone. And I ended up actually having 4 months where I made a little bit over 10,000 euros. This is new for me. Like, I feel like my finances before this year were very basic, like very average. And this is the first year where I've really seen like a massive improvement. And I do think a lot of that is because I started learning about money and got really passionate about it. I started a few different side hustles. Like I really put a lot of effort into this. So that's it with my goals. It was very, very simple, straight to the point. I like to set goals that are numbers based, especially when it comes to my finances and career. It's just the easiest for me to track and work towards and the most like motivating. I did start off 2024 with a full emergency fund. So again, this is savings put to the side for emergencies only. My emergency fund is 20,000 euros. I am debating lowering it just because I haven't like had to take money from it in a long time, but I'm not really sure. I'm very like cautious when it comes to money. I'm not like a risk taker at all. I do really, really value feeling like safe and secure over like a risky opportunity to make a lot of money at once. Not into that. But yeah, I had that initial like 20,000 euros set to the side, a little bit extra in my savings account. I didn't have any money invested yet at that point, and I also had no debt, just to kind of give you like an overview. I was also at this point mostly living in Denmark, where my boyfriend was from, so that's a very expensive country, but we were planning to move to Slovenia in 2 years. We wanted to build a house in the Slovenian Alps and then start having a family. Obviously, that completely changed, and I did end up obviously saving a lot of money and putting a lot towards investing, but I did have to fully move everything back to Slovenia, like decorate this place because I was gonna be living here now. I had to buy a car so I could get around. So there were a lot of financial changes, which made this year more expensive than I thought it would be, but it is what it is. Like we roll with the punches. I can't really change anything that happened, and I am very lucky that I had a very lucrative year despite everything that happened, which was honestly really, really helpful. And I'm so happy that money didn't add to the stress that I was already under, and that's why like setting yourself up for success and creating that secure foundation, like an emergency fund or something like that, is so important. Like I knew that when this happened, I could have taken a lot of time off if I wanted to, buy a car, do all these things and live normally under the circumstances, of course. And I was completely fine. Like money was not a stressor, and that is so privileged. And I'm saying all of this in case you have not started with that. It is so helpful, and you do not have to make insane amounts of money to do this. Like up to, again, this year, my finances were very average. So again, my emergency fund has stayed the same. I ended up saving over 40% of my income, and some of that went towards a car that I bought. I didn't want to take out a loan, so that was obviously a big chunk of money, and then the rest is going towards investing. A lot of the reasons of why this year was more expensive than usual were kind of out of my control. With again moving, buying a car, I did end up getting some help with editing my videos because I was not fully here for a long time. And I also ended up kind of ignoring my budget for the last like 2 to 3 months. So my spending was a little bit out of control, okay? A lot of it was like emotional spending, to be completely honest, but also I knew I would reach all of my financial goals. So I kind of like threw my hands in the air and was like, it's fine. Which is okay. Like I'm okay with that, but I don't want this to become a habit. Like I want to be very mindful and responsible of my money and make the best financial decisions that I can. So we'll tackle this when we set my budget. So keeping all of that in mind, my goals for 2025 are basically to steadily grow my income, my savings, the money I invest, and my net worth, and then also tackle like the whole spending and ignoring my budget issue that I've been having. So for the like steadily growing, my goals are to have a 6-figure year. I want to be very specific and set like a specific amount. I'm just not really sure what that is yet, because I don't want to like limit myself, but I also don't want it to be like such an insane number that it's not achievable. So I'm like debating what that would be. I'm not really sure. I'll figure that out, but I obviously would like it to be higher than this year so we can continue steadily growing. I want to save 55% of my income, which I know is like a big jump from like 40% to 55%. But again, I did overspend, especially in the last part of the year, and I ended up making more than I thought I would. So I feel like this is actually very achievable and realistic, even though it sounds like it's not. But I wanted to challenge myself to really stick to a budget and be pretty like firm with myself. And then I want to invest monthly. So this is how I plan to like grow my net worth, and this is what I plan to do with my savings, because I'm not really expecting to have any like huge expenses like I had this year with buying a car. So I want to invest a minimum of 3,000 euros every single month. That 55% of money that I'm setting to the side, most of that is going to go towards investing. So I think this number is going to be higher every single month. But again, want to be realistic. We are cautious over here. With my net worth, currently I'm at around like 60K with like my car, emergency fund, money going towards investment, which I am so happy with. Like I started this year with a little over 20K. So obviously that's a pretty big jump for me. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I feel like 100K is going to be like a big milestone. I do think if like my year is going to go the way this one has been going and like keep growing, I do think this will be higher, especially with like my investments and stuff. But we will see. I will, by the way, make a video about investing. I know a lot of you have been asking and I've been promising it. It will happen, I promise. Obviously in 2024, I set a fun like milestone type of goal, which was to have a 5-figure month. So this year, one of my goals was to have a 20K month, which is absolutely obscene. Like I have not been even close to that ever. I'm pretty sure that when I first started making money from this job, I made less than 20K in a year. So this is insane to me. And then my last goal to help with spending and overspending is to have 3 low spend months. So a low spend month is basically where you only spend money on essentials and the things you plan ahead of time. So for example, I will do this in January because I feel like it's a really good time to do it. So you can kind of reset your finances for the year. So I won't be spending any money on like shopping. So things like fashion, beauty, etc. I won't be spending any money on takeout. I will spend a bit of money on eating, drinking out. So I will like limit myself in that category. And there are a few gifts that I need to buy for birthdays coming up. So that's why it's not like a no spend month, which is another alternative. I will be spending a bit more money than just essentials, but I will pre-plan that and stick to it. One thing that I did not put on my goals list, but it's something I want to tackle and figure out, is to have a good like paycheck routine. So when I get money in, I want to put whatever I can set aside towards investing straight away. And then I am really highly debating creating some sinking funds for my like expected bigger purchases or bills coming up. So whatever is left in my checking account is the exact amount that I have budgeted so that I'm not again overspending. So that is something I want to figure out. I'm not really sure what I want to do, but I do think I will try sinking funds. I have never done that before. Sinking funds are basically like little sections of your savings. So for example, like Christmas gifts, that's something you can create a sinking fund for. So over the year, you can put money aside so that when that rolls around, you're not like barely getting by because you have to spend a lot of money on that, but it's something you've prepared yourself for. So I have a few things like that coming up. I have never gotten into sinking funds just because it's felt so like overcomplicated. I do have money in a savings account, so if I need to, I can just take money out of it for those things, but it does kind of feel nice to like prepare for things in advance. So I'm not really sure. We will figure that out as we go along. I hope this is not insanely boring. Like I love watching videos like this. I don't care if I literally don't know anything about you. I want to know about your money. Okay, so this is the budget that I've been using for the last 6 months, and this is the one I'll continue to use, obviously a new version of it because this is for 2024. But I wanted to kind of show you how it looks. So this is the annual dashboard. So this is where you get a whole overview of the year. This is automatically updated as you fill in your monthly budgets. This is not accurate for the whole year because I've been using it for the last 6 months, but you can see my total income, my total expenses. This includes savings, by the way, your total savings. And then you've got like some graphs so you can see where the majority of your money is going. So you can see that the majority of my money went towards savings. So a huge chunk of that was for my car, and then the rest of it was for my investing. 7.8% was towards rent, which I feel like is acceptable. This is where we run into a problem, and that is that my next biggest expense, 6.4%, was shopping. Okay? And I'm pretty sure it's even higher because there was a category that I just changed the name of, so it's missing on here. For this to be the 4th largest category is absolutely wild, and that is something we need to change. The next 2 are business expenses, like the money I put aside for taxes, my website, editing, etc. That I'm totally fine with and do not anticipate on changing. And then 3.6% is dining out, which is a lot again, but it is something I don't really plan to change. Honestly, it brings me a lot of joy to go out and have a drink or a dinner with my friends, my family, whoever. I obviously will try to lower that a little bit from my 3 low spend months. But overall, this is something that brings me a lot of joy. Again, your budget is your own personal plan for how you plan to spend your money, save it, etc. And for me, this is worth it. It brings me a lot of joy. The next one, 2.9%, is groceries. I do plan to lower this. Obviously, the prices of groceries have gone up a lot. I spent most of the first half of 2024 in Denmark, which is even more expensive. And the time I spent here, I was without a car, so I was ordering groceries, which is more expensive. So I do think this will lower unless the prices keep rising like crazy. We will see. This is just nice to see so you know exactly where your money is going and how you plan to change it. The rest of these categories, I'm totally fine with. Okay, let's go to the annual totals and we will put in my income streams. So I'll just write all of these in. So those are my income streams. So now when I go to my monthly budget, you can see them all in here. Then we've got our savings. So this is if you want to save towards different things. I will just write investments. I invest in index funds. So I am debating like putting different index funds that I invest in. But I feel like that will get very complicated. We will see. Also, I could do singing funds here. That would make a lot of sense, but again, I haven't figured that out yet. So for now, we just have investment because that's the only thing at this point I am saving for. I also like to do little cute emojis before each of these sections to just make it a little bit more visual. You can also change the colors and all of that. The instructions part shows you how to do that. And then we've got bills. So this is what is going to be different than last year. We will have more than usual. Okay, I moved us a bit because the sun was getting a little out of control, but I filled in all of my bills with emojis. So again, it's a little bit more exciting to look at. And I also put in all of my expenses categories with emojis again. So we've got groceries, dining out, takeout, so all the food stuff. Then we've got workouts and health. Health for me is like supplements, medication, if I need to see like a specialist or something. Hopefully not, you never know. Then experiences, that for me is like concerts, events, I don't know, an escape room, a rage room. I actually might need that. And then we've got travel, home decor. This is a category because I've been kind of revamping this apartment since I am obviously staying here. And then donations, this is a new category. I obviously did donate in 2024. It just went under my gifts category. But I feel like by making this a real category and setting a budget for it every single month, I will make more of an effort. And then we've got gifts, we've got fashion. Last year with my budget, I just had shopping category. And it's kind of hard to know where my money went exactly. Like I feel like most of it did go towards fashion, but it's pretty broad. So I did make it more specific this year. So I've got fashion, beauty, and then miscellaneous spending. So this is like journals, books, etc. And then beauty treatment. So this is mostly like my hair. And then I've got transport also. So if I need to take a taxi or something, we've got that here. So those are all my expenses, bills, income streams, saving pockets. I will leave this debt table free because I don't have any debt. So now we've got this set for the year. And the reason why I love this budget so much is that you actually set your budget monthly because obviously your spending does ebb and flow throughout the months. Some months you have to spend a lot more money in one area than the other. So this really allows you to be very intentional with your monthly spending. This is a monthly page for January. Obviously it's completely empty. So you've got your income table here. So once you get your income, you put in the date, the amount. It obviously calculates it for you. And then when it comes to these tables, so savings, bills, expenses, and debt, you actually write your expense here. So let's set a date. So let's say it's the 1st of January. The amount, so let's say I spend 30 euros on groceries. So I've put in groceries, and then you can also write the details here. So if you want to write some notes on what exactly this was for, you can do that. And then that will be updated up here. And same goes for savings, bills, and debt. So let's say in January, I also put €100 towards my investments. So I'll put that in so you can see that that has now actually been updated up here automatically. So that is how the budget works. But for each table, you also have a budget section. So this is where you actually set your amount that you want to spend on this. So obviously all of these bills pretty much stay almost exactly the same every single month. So this comes way more in handy when it comes to my expenses. So this is where I actually set a budget, so how much I plan to spend for each category. And then the actual amount is obviously the amount that I'm actually spending. So I can kind of see what's going on and tweak anything that needs to be tweaked. So here it is. I did limit myself as much as humanly possible in all these categories that I can control because I am having a low spend month in January. However, I do plan to spend a lot on gifts. So there's like 3 huge birthdays coming up. So that's something I can't really control. Like obviously I want to get the people that I love nice gifts. Workouts is also pretty high just because reformer Pilates is insanely expensive in Slovenia. It actually hurts my soul. But I do want to like move my body, and that is my preferred way to do it. So this is something I'm not like willing to budge on. Same with experiences. Like I like to go to things like concerts, a spa day, things like that. So this is way lower than it usually would be, but I am planning a little weekend getaway. So I think we will possibly do something. And then travel, I left this empty because I am doing a trip in February. So I'll probably buy plane tickets and Airbnb or hotel in January, so it's like cheaper, but I need to like see how much that would probably cost. So I will check that out and then write that in here. So that's kind of how I like to do it, and I like to look at previous months to see what I can improve on and where I can limit myself more or what I'm not willing to budge on. And then I just kind of see the actual amount that I'm spending, and again I get to tweak it. I get to like limit myself a little bit more for the rest of the month if I've been overspending in certain categories. So this is just the best way for me personally to budget. This really, really works for me. And I don't know, it's just very like intentional, and I get to keep myself in check. Again, I'll link it down below. You can use the code Nika10 if you want to get 10% off, but just find a budget that works for you. So that is it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Maybe got some ideas, some inspiration for your finances, or some helpful tips and tricks. Again, I'll have the whole playlist for financial videos that I've made so far, and you can definitely expect more of them in 2025, along with the investing video, which I've mentioned so many times already. It is coming, I promise. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. You can also check out my social media if you want to see more of my personal life. But thank you guys so much for watching. Happy New Year, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.